Welcome to I don't know this guy, that guy. Season 1, episode 2 with Taylor the Hater. Say hi, Taylor. And I'm
What up?
Brad, looking for a better user handle on the internet, Watson1060. Now, John, Taylor, I gotta jump right into this. Now, you live in LA, right? Like,
Orange County, technically. It's close
LA.
enough.
but
You plan these.
so it's like what, 75 degrees there right now?
It is 72.
And you've got a hoodie on and you're complaining about being warm. So I'm just trying to figure out the.
I didn't complain about being warm. I just said I just worked out and
You
showered.
worked out, but you're always in a hoodie. And
Yeah.
I mean, around here it's 75. That is like short sleeves. It's obviously very different there and in South Florida.
Yeah, I mean it's nice out, but there'll be like a breeze or some shit. No, I won't feel that.
Yeah, that breeze at 72 degrees has got to be brutal.
Yeah, well.
It's got to be brutal. I got a good story there. So I had to go down to Orlando for work. This was 5 years ago. I'm down there. We're meeting with the CEO of this company, and
Oh shit.
it is 95 degrees out. It is humid. It's just awful, right? And I've got a full suit on, tie, dress shirt. We're dying. Go out to lunch, and I am not kidding about like the 90 plus degrees. There is an not old guy, mid 50s. He's at lunch. He's walking out of his car in a sweater.
Oh god.
Like it's just normal. Like I don't get it, man.
I don't know. That seems like a little. That seems like he's trying to show off a little bit. Like,
I mean, I wasn't trying to impress me because I was not impressed. I was more shocked that he was able to do that.
I'm not buying that. I ain't wearing a sweater in that shit.
Yeah. I mean, people, they're all, you got to remember it's also the older crowd. So,
Maybe he's protecting his skin.
yeah.
They got
Yeah,
weak skin.
What's that saying that people go to Florida to die?
They do say that.
I mean,
yes.
it's kind of true. Yeah.
I know a lot of old people there. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people. Let's get into how kind of you and I met and what's the real thing around it is cars, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk through your cars, your history with cars, ones you've owned, kind of how you got into the whole car culture.
Okay.
So so what was your first car?
My first car was a Honda Civic.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was the only thing I could afford. It was the only place that would give you a brand new car for no money. I had no money, so.
So it was a brand new car?
Because I leased it, and they said it was the only place I was like, I can't give you any money today. I just need a car, and they're like, well, you can lease a brand new Honda Civic for nothing down, and that's the only car you can get. Like, no, there's maybe like a Hyundai Sonata or something, but I was like,
Yeah.
I was broke, so I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need a car. I'll take that. Give me that thing.
Wow. So what dealership did you screw over on that deal?
What'd you say?
Actually, I'd be thinking they probably screwed you over.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I had no choice. My parents wouldn't let me drive cars or any of their cars, so they threw me out there to get a car.
When I turned 16, I got my license, but I didn't have a car. So for 2 years, I pimped around in my mother's minivan.
That's dope.
It was Dodge Grand Caravan. It was a new one, right? So like a 98, this thing,
What color?
Silver.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking green, that dark green, but okay.
They actually had this was the new body style, and they actually had a town and country before it that was that green.
Oh yeah,
dark forest. Yeah.
That's what I think of, or like maroon. I would think, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. They had one of those too. I am not kidding. We're knocking them all out.
Yeah.
So I would drive that thing around, and I did beat the piss out of that. If you turn traction control off and you put the front tires up against a speed bump in a parking lot and held the brake while you're revving it up, could actually get it to do a burnout.
How the hell? How do you turn? Why would they even offer that option to turn off TC on a minivan? Well, who would offer that option? Like,
I don't have an answer to this question.
Like, what would you need it off for? Like,
I don't know. Like, it's like they're just asking for problems.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't think of one single thing where I don't know. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
What was in it? Like a V6 or some shit?
Yeah, it was a V6, like 180 or 200 horsepower.
Nice.
But yeah, I beat the ever loving crap out of that thing.
You get a little spoiler on the top too. Some flames.
How'd you know, man? How'd you know? No, I had a spoiler on the hatch.
No.
It did. Yes. Not
Why?
like a big one, but well, I'll have to go pull it up and
Oh, it's tasteful minivan spoiler.
It was a tasteful minivan spoiler, not like a,
like my carbon fiber wing
kind of spoiler.
Okay.
But had that, and then for when I graduated high school, my parents bought me a 1991 Taurus SHO, which actually was kind of hot shit because the car was like a freak, and the guy did a bunch of work to it. So this is 2001. So I had a 300 horsepower 4-door sedan in 2001.
Everyone had the Taurus back then.
Right, but not with 300 horsepower that could keep up with Mustangs and all sorts of shit.
True. Okay.
So it was actually a really, really fun car because I could just go around and just, well, I mean, back then it's like somebody comes up to you in a WS6 and they're like, well, I got 380 horsepower. And I'm like, yeah, I got a Taurus with 300. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Yeah, pretty much.
On the highway.
Not that I would ever street race. Doing shit like that is just wrong.
Yes.
And
we do not condone this on this channel.
Do not condone street racing. But if I did condone it, I could tell you a lot of places in Chicago where people like to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Specifically on the south side of Chicago on Doty Road.
That's probably, yeah. I mean,
do you know about Doty Road? Or
no, I meant the south side in general. I would assume it would be south side.
Well, yeah.
It's the south side of myself. Don't yell at me. I know things.
I got no issues, man. So, you know what? I'm gonna be talking. I'm talking about some street racing, so I don't even care. So,
okay.
Place on the south side of Chicago. It's called Doty Road. Right near Lake Calumet, like 35th Street. So like super south side, like sketchy as all hell. And people would line up. There's a 2-lane road. You'd line up, literally cars like line the side of the road, both sides. And you flash your lights twice, make sure nobody's coming, and off you go. The fun part about it was that the cops really didn't give a shit.
Okay.
And by not giving a shit, I mean like somebody flashed their lights once and like the car that was coming down the road didn't flash back. And it's like, okay, flash your lights, they didn't flash back. Pulled up, CPD in an unmarked car. And the passenger officer, they're like, you guys get out of here, right? And we're like, come on, dude, we're not hurting anybody, blah, 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 blah. The passenger officer puts his shotgun out the window, points it straight up, and just starts popping off. God's honest, I watched this. Right? Like, they did not care.
Jesus.
They're like, right. So this usually would go off like without issue. I had a friend, CPD rolled up one night, there was some like industrial train tracks there, like backed his car up on there. He was from Naperville. Cops were like, give me your license. So
Naperville cops are tough, so.
Right, except this was CPD.
Oh,
looks
Chicago.
at the license, sees Naperville, he's like, get out of here, rich boy, and throws his license back at him. It was kind of like a lawless area until, I don't know, 12, 15, yeah, probably even, I don't know, a few years ago, some girl showed up drunk and was pissed at her ex who was out there racing and sideswiped 25 or 30 cars that were parked alongside of the road.
Oh,
Right,
dude,
right.
fuck off.
Like, not like a little bit, like just right down, takes them all out. And then
Yikes.
everybody leaves there, goes to the Shell station and call the cops. It's like, okay, this girl hit us all. And they're all like, no, you were out there street racing. We're not going to do shit. And they didn't take a single police report. So everyone's kind of like,
That's the risk of fun, friends.
Pretty much.
Of illegal
the cops
fun.
are kind of like, you're doing illegal shit, pay the consequences. So kind of ended that shit real quick. They started posting a cop up there every Friday and Saturday night. So no more street racing on Doty Road, which was sad.
So you heard it.
Sad.
There's no street races there, so don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there. Don't go to Doty Road. I don't know how to get there.
You will get arrested. I guarantee it.
The Bishop, whatever the hell it name expressway in. If you get off at Stony Island and find Doty Road, not that I would ever know how to get there.
All right, jeez, they really want to get there. They think they know enough.
Yeah, if you really want to get there, hit me up.
Don't hit him up.
You guys have that shit out like by you, or are you good? You're a good Christian boy.
Do we have? Are you kidding? Los Angeles?
Well,
it's like mayhem.
Asking.
This place is like fucking. This place is like mayhem. This shit is like, they like close off fucking streets. Oh, dude, we did. We closed down Beverly Hills one time.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I have a video of it on my YouTube channel on Team CC, Coastal California, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a video. We closed it down. Like, we brought like 100 just like fucking Lambos and Ferraris and crazy shit. And the cops were just like closing down. They were like doing their best. They were just closing down streets as much as they could.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I got some good footage, but then I was like, I have to get out because they're gonna just start looking for people with nice cars and grabbing us.
Well, you don't have a nice car though.
Sure, sure. And yeah. So that was fun, but yeah. Oh, we used to do shit all the time till my car broke. So
you don't go out with friends now. You just stay in live stream.
Yeah. No, my friends watch me on here. Sometimes.
So, like, is it
barely
like season round hood rat shit in LA?
Yeah.
Like in the car scene.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fucking annoying. It's cool and annoying. Like, you go to car meets, and then there's just like, I don't know, there's some really cool people, and they got like crazy cars. And then it gets, somebody will start fucking shooting like flames at your shit, and you're like, holy shit, this is dope. And then the children start acting up because they're like, and then then they're just doing, and then they donuts in the fucking middle of the intersections, and then the cops come, and then we have to all just. The thing is though, like there's like a secret channel that they know about, and I'm assuming the cops know because they always seem to show up exactly when we get to the new place.
It's not even that big of a secret.
Yeah, I don't think so. They caught on, I'm sure. But we would get, the cops would come and like, everyone get out, okay. And then we would drive and they'd be like, all right, we're going to Santa Monica, whatever. Like, okay. And then go there and then get busted there. You're like, fuck. And then they'd be like, all right, we're going to Topanga Hills. And I'm like, fuck, okay. And then you kind of just get sick of like, all right, we're going to the next stop. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm going home. Like, I'm not.
So it's like you just keep going to place after place after place and just keeps getting busted and busted and busted.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good. The thing is, because there's so many content creators here. So it's like getting busted is almost part of the fun of it. So that's why we go to.
Like, it's almost better to get arrested and pulled over, so then you can have the camera in the cop's face and be like, "Oh yeah, huh? Yeah, I'm streaming you right now, bro."
It just depends what crowd you're in. The ones that I went to like the nice cars and shit. There's like the street racing shit. Well, I don't know anything about it. I've never gone to any of them, but I mean,
that would be the shit I'd be involved in. Would be the straight up street racing.
They're everywhere because I see it all the time. I'm on YouTube and it's just like illegal street race, like from a day ago, and then the next day from another day ago. It's like nonstop, I mean, dude, have you seen the chases in LA? There's like a chase.
I know, it's insane.
There's like a chase every fucking weekend.
I thought that like since like OJ, that was just like part of your culture.
I guess.
Right?
I mean, I just it's nuts. I watch this guy on YouTube and he like posts chase videos all the time and it'll be like crazy insane chase and I go, I swear to God, if it's LA, and I opened it up and like he's like, so everybody, you know that when you hear about a car chase, we know where it's from. And I'm like, don't say LA. He's like, LA. I'm like, fuck A. Of course it is.
So, do you guys call it Mexico or?
Yeah.
Because like around here, it's like you go street racing. It's like I'm going to Mexico.
Yeah,
Okay.
Everything's Mexico.
I wasn't sure if that was
burnout or anything is in Mexico.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean around here, like 355 is like the prime spot because it is freshly paved, nice and flat, and
that's a toll road, isn't it?
Yeah.
You gotta pay to play.
Yeah. But I mean, there are some very, very straight stretches there that are ideal for if you'd like to line up several cars in a row.
Yeah.
And punch it.
That was the first time in my life that I ever went 100 miles an hour. I did it in my Honda Civic. I mean, what are you gonna do? It was like fucking 12 years ago or some shit.
Yeah.
And you know, rest me. I'm in Los Angeles.
I mean,
and yeah, it was the first time I ever did it on 355.
You know,
big
I've
ass.
actually got
going to Indiana.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna claim a land speed record here.
Oh, jeez.
So, how well do you know Interstate 88 now near Aurora?
Yeah, I do. It's been a while, but yeah.
I made it from Aurora to Woodfield.
Yeah, okay.
12 minutes.
That's tough.
So, got on Farnsworth Road. I mean, this was 20 plus years ago. And, 1:00 in the morning, there's nobody around. I'm like, screw it, I'm doing like a $1.20. And then you get off that ramp and you're the big sweeping on a 355 north, and there wasn't a car in sight, man. I'm just like, gone.
Nice.
Peg the needle and get to streets of Woodfield, and friends are like, Jesus, I thought you guys were in Aurora. They're like, we were. And they're like, you know what time it is? Yeah. They're like, you got here in 12 minutes. We're like, holy shit.
Nitrous, bro.
Yeah. I mean, let's go with, it was nitrous and twin turb skis and all that kind of good stuff. Doing stupid hood rat shit when you're young and don't realize the consequences of your actions.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know that one very well. My first speeding ticket ever.
Yeah, what was that?
Not too bad. It was I was on I-55, which is 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Or they lower it yet to 45, 35 maybe now? Like just gonna keep
55 still.
Keep lowering it.
It's off. It's 20 miles an hour too slow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I never have gotten a speeding ticket before, and I was going 25 over or 26 or 25. One over the class
the big one.
B misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And it was my first ticket ever. And I was just scared because I'd never talked to a cop. I think he got bad vibes or something from that. I don't know. Anyway, he gave me the ticket. At the time, I was a truck dispatcher. I worked at a truck dispatching company.
Okay.
And I remember I just kind of was like, all right, I'll just pay it. I don't know how this works. I'll just pay. I think you just pay them, right? So I was at work and I told my boss, and I was like, yeah, I got a speeding ticket. And he's like, oh, for what? Whatever. And then I explained it to him, and he's like, dude, I think that's bad. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you can't. He's like, that's that good in this state. And I'm like, yeah. Well, don't I just pay it? And he's like, no, dude, I think you need to go to court. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what for speeding? And he's like, let me give me the. Do you have the ticket? I'm like, yeah. I'll go get it. I'll go get it in my car. So I go. I didn't even read the fucking thing. I go. I give him the ticket, and he's like looking it over, and he's like, dude, you got to go to court, man. I'm like, you can't. He's like, you can't just pay this. And I'm like, shit, dude, what? And he's like, oh man. He's like, this isn't a joke either. They stopped. This isn't a joke anymore. And I was like, I never even fucking. So I go to court.
How old were you at the time?
I don't know, 22 maybe, 23.
Okay.
And I asked my uncle, I'm like, can you go to court with me? And I don't.
Your uncle's an attorney?
No, he's just my uncle. I just like, can you just come with me?
Okay.
Like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know what to do.
He's like an attorney.
No. So we're sitting there. And my uncle's like, he's done some shit in his past. He's a great man. And but I know he's been to court probably in his life. And he told me, he goes, don't worry. He's like, you'll get court supervision.
Yeah.
No big deal. It'll be great. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So we're sitting there like watching like people go up to the court and they're like DUI, like public indecency, like assault, this crazy shit, and they're all getting court supervision. So me and my uncle like look at each other and I'm like, dude, we got this. Like,
yeah, right.
It's a speeding ticket. I'm like, that guy was drunk driving. Like, we're good. So we walk up to the judge and she's like, where's your lawyer? And I'm like, I don't have a lawyer. And she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm gonna put another court date for a month. She's like, get a lawyer and come back or you're going to jail. And my uncle's like, my uncle's like, can he get court supervision? She's like, absolutely not. We do not. There's no whatever. She's like, come back with a lawyer. I walk out. I'm like freaking out, man. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm gonna go to jail, man. I'm gonna go to jail. So my uncle was like, oh, he's like, we couldn't fucking believe it. We're like stunned. We're like, what the fuck? So luckily my uncle
was an attorney.
His brother-in-law is an attorney.
Okay.
So he helped me out, and then I guess they reduced it. Since I was only like 1 mile per hour past, so they reduced it just down 1 mile per hour. So then it was just a speeding ticket, regular one.
Yeah.
So I just had to pay him and pay the court. But man, that scared the shit out of me. And I don't go over 25 anywhere anymore. I don't care what state it is. I won't. Like, unless I'm like on a desert road or something, or like, I know I'm gonna stop in like a minute. I don't go that fast.
Yeah, I mean that would scare me stupid.
I guess it works because it's. I guess the system worked because I will never do that shit. Like, when I'm on 55 in Chicago. You best fucking believe I'm cruise controlling at 55 and in the middle lane, and I'm not touching. I'm like, nope. I don't like them here.
Not even risking this.
I've been there.
So that, I mean, I never. My God, wait. No, never did that. But, so you're talking about like the DUI and all that. So this is gonna sound bad. Well, it's not as bad as it actually sounds. So, I actually cut off a cop pulling out of a neighborhood.
Okay.
Which it sounds really bad,
I mean,
but it was like a blind intersection, and I mean I couldn't see left, and by the time like I could actually see left, I saw him coming, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna stop, like I'm gonna pull through so he doesn't just plow into me.
Yeah.
And he is all like pissy about it. He's like, you cut me off and blah blah blah, and calls for like backup. I'm like, what the?
Oh no, shit.
So. Doesn't arrest me, gives me a ticket, and I'm like, I'm gonna challenge this motherfucker, right? I've got this one. This one's on my side because like I'm gonna go back and be like, look, here's like where the stop line is, and like you're looking left and like you can't see more than 40 feet down the road because there is a bush that is literally overgrowing onto the street.
And they're hiding too,
right? Well, no. It was a cross traffic, so I'm at a stop sign. He's coming this way, and I just couldn't see him.
Yeah.
So, I go to court. I'm like, I got my pictures. I'm like, I'm going to, plead not guilty because it was not like it was intentional. It was just straight. It was just an accident, right? No contact was made. No big deal. And they're like, if you've got a small crime, a small misdemeanor or whatever ticket, and they're like, you come up and you plead, guilty, request supervision. You'll just pay the fine and get out of there. I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I'm not going to spend the rest of my day in court to fight this if I can just get supervision and get out of there, right?
Yeah.
So, all these people line up, and they're walking up, and, state's attorney's reading off what they've got, and judge is like, all right, fine, yeah, court supervision.
Same thing.
And then, right, so I'm like, this is going great.
Yeah, everyone's getting this shit.
The guy in front of me, he was there for it was either his third or a fourth DUI, and he pleaded guilty and requested court supervision. This is his third or fourth DUI. He's just requesting supervision. Right.
And he gets it.
Nope.
Oh.
The judge does not take this well.
Damn.
Like, she is. Yes.
I mean, rightfully
Like,
so,
oh,
dude.
no.
Come on, get your
blah,
shit.
blah, 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 blah. I don't remember what happened to him. But I'm next up in line. I walk up. And, like, I'm looking at this judge. And I'm like, I'm so fucked. I'm so fucked. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pleading guilty, requesting supervision, court supervision. She's like, what was the charge again? They're like, he cut off an officer. She's like, okay, 8-hour traffic school, $400 fine plus court costs. Next.
Damn. So she was pissed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got to take the brunt of it.
I mean, it could have went two ways. The guy before you pissed her off so much that everything else seemed non-existent, or
yeah,
you pissed her off and everything seemed horrible.
And it was sadly B. So I'm at this traffic school on a Saturday morning, which I made sure at the time. I mean, I was probably 25 years old.
Yeah.
I'm showing up hungover because I don't want to be there, and I'm obviously going to make this the worst experience I possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Right. So, they go around asking, they're like, what is everybody here for? And they're like, speeding 15 over. Oh, I blew a stop sign. I'm like, yeah, I cut off a cop. And everyone's like, you did what? Yep, I'm going to own that bitch.
That's funny. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. That was...
it's kind of cool.
That was a very long 8-hour traffic. So I think I was out till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I had to be there at 8 a.m. So I'm showing up hungover to traffic school for 8 hours.
What do they even do in there? What is traffic?
They teach you about driving safely and what you should and shouldn't do, which when you've been to one every about 13 months, you kind of get a gist of what the curriculum is.
Do you have to like take tests and shit, like driver's ed or?
No, you just kind of have to sit there the whole time. Like, it's not like it's graded, but now they do like online ones, and you actually have to do like quizzes and shit.
I don't give it. I would do
like,
that
instead
of going there.
You have to click to make sure you're paying attention. Ask me how I learned this the hard way, because I thought I could just like have the thing playing in the background. Nope. You gotta click.
I got an auto click. I'll rig up an auto clicker.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Now, right, but this was 6 years ago. Was my last ticket that I didn't just hire an attorney and be like, take care of this.
Yeah.
Dude,
nice.
Like, I mean, it's just a money grab usually, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, like, in the name of safety, like if you're doing something stupid, but if I'm going like 10 over and there's nobody around, like that's like a straight money grab.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I've never.
You know what? I'll give you your money, but I just don't want this going on my record.
Yeah.
So I now have a spotless, clean driving record, which I don't know how I pulled off.
Me too, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you sound way worse than me. Yeah, you sound way. The only things I get are like exhaust tickets.
Oh.
Which are horrible here. I have like 3 of those.
Really?
Yeah. I got one. I got one after like a month or something, or like 3 months. I don't remember. And yeah. Well, and every time I
challenge that, or
I absolutely can, and I won't, because then that's the point. They know you won't. Like, I'm not gonna go to a fucking garage and have them inspect my exhaust and then get a paper and then I'm not doing all that. Just whatever it is, I'm paying the thing.
You gotta do it. Well, I mean, can't you just like do it once and be like, hey, look, I've got this, or do you have to do it for each and every time?
I'm assuming every time, because I'm assuming you can modify it after you get the ticket, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, at one point I wanted to do it. I was like, all right, I'm going to do it this time, But then I was like, dude, I like treasure my Saturdays. I'm not gonna fucking do this. I'm not gonna go out on Saturday and do this shit. Like, screw it. I'm just paying the dumb ticket. And what's funny too is I rip and roar that bitch. I'll be like, blasting off and shit, and perfectly fine. Every time I've gotten an exhaust ticket, I was going like 5 miles an hour. The first exhaust ticket I got, I was stopped at a red light, and then I was like, looked at my gas gauge and I had no gas. I'm like, oh, I gotta go get gas. So I turn my clicker on, wait, and then I just pull up, and the gas station's right there on the side of the street. So I'm just gonna go this way and then take a left. I mean, I'm going like 4 miles an hour, and then the cop was in the gas station that I was going to, and just whoop 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 whoop, and I'm like going like 3 miles an hour. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking to myself, because I don't have a front plate on it, so I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm like, fucking front plate, of course. Yeah. And he's like, you know, I pulled you over. I'm like, no. And he's like, you have a modified exhaust, and I don't have a modified exhaust. So I was like, I don't mean any disrespect, but I don't actually have a modified exhaust. And he's like, no, you do. He's like, you absolutely do. And I'm like, I know it's a loud car, and I'm like, I'm just trying to be like as non-confrontational as possible. I'm just like, I know it's a loud car, but it's actually stock. It's like this. And he's like, no, it's modified. He's like, I know what a modified car is. And I'm just like, listen, man, you could just, if you just look at the exhaust,
you can tell.
Just if he's like, no, he's like, I know. I'm like,
what a dick.
Okay. I'm like, all right, sure. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, what am I supposed to fucking do? What am I gonna get out of the car and like pull the fucking caps off and be like, look at this rusty fucking thing? No. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So that was like the first time I was like, I have no control over this. It sucks. This fucking sucks. Yeah. I mean, okay, it's tuned. That's why it's so loud. But like, you can't prove that. You can't fucking prove that it's tuned.
No.
What are you gonna? You can't prove it. Like,
what's he gonna do? Log into the computer and be like,
no, exactly. And if I take it to the thing, they're not gonna test my ECU. They're gonna just fucking look at the exhaust and go, this is stock. I'm like, thank you. Yeah. So anyway, a couple months later, I get pulled over again, going like 10 on like in like a neighborhood street, and the guy like pulls me over, and I'm like, oh my god. Every time I think it's a front plate, because I'm like, they're gonna get I've never gotten a front plate yet. I've never gotten a front plate yet. I keep thinking I'm gonna get one, but I never get one. And I pull over, he's like, you got a modified exhaust, and I'm like, listen, man. I'm like, listen.
I
just had this conversation. It is a stock exhaust. And then he didn't believe me. I knew he didn't believe me. And he's like, oh, he's like, when'd you get the ticket? And I was like, a couple months ago. And I think he didn't believe me. And I was like, and I like reached in my, and I like pulled it out, like, I'm like, it's right here, check it out. He like looked at it, and then then he believed me. And he's like, oh shit, okay. I was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm telling you the truth. I just got one. I'm like, he's like, well, did you contest it? And I'm like, no, I don't have time for this, man. I'm like, I don't got time. And he's like, okay. And he was being cool, but I'm like, I'm just being honest with you, dude. I'm like, it is not modified. It is a stock. And he goes, okay, well, what mode are you in on your car? And I'm like, the middle one, the dynamic. He goes, that's why you're in dynamic. And I'm like, that is not why. Like,
that's not the law.
He's like, you can't drive in that mode on the street. I'm just like, this is fucking infuriating, man. And like, you can't do anything, but you just have to sit there and just get dicked in the butthole. And I'm like, because the thing is, I know the answer. It's the ECU tune. I know that's the answer. I know that's why you all think. But still, they just hear a little, but that's not illegal.
Yeah. No, it's not.
A decibel reading is illegal, but they just hear the little pops and they go, "Oh, that's wrong," because it pops at 10 miles an hour. You know.
Dude, my Volvo pops.
Yeah. So they hear that
Won't
little
stop.
pop, that's what it is. And then he's like, "Yeah, they make up this shit." He's like, "Yeah, it's on dynamic mode." I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, that's not." And he was cool, but he still gave me a ticket. I'm like, "God," he's like, "Yeah, just."
That sucks.
He's like, "Go to the thing and get it checked," and then I'm like, I was like, I'm not telling you, dude, I'm not gonna go do it. He's like, "All right, well, I'm good one." I'm like, "All right, see you later." And I just getting tickets, stupid as shit. Yeah, so I'm kind of sick of that. I'm glad. That's a thing that I'm glad about not driving anymore, because those tickets were like $250.
Holy shit.
250. Yeah.
What's like a front plate ticket?
A front plate ticket?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I would guess like $50 or something. Not that bad.
Yeah, that's how it is here. So, funny story about that. I was going to my old house, and I was making a left, and I was going to be passing a high school where I went to high school, and there's a cop sitting there. I mean, radar went off, but I mean, I was going like 35. But at the time, school was in session, so it was a school zone at a 20. And he comes, I get lit up. And I'm like, what the fuck, right? So he comes up. He's like, it's like, I see you're missing a front plate there. And I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm like, yeah. I actually just had the bumper. Now this was actually true. I'm like, I actually just had the bumper resprayed. I gotta get a new mounting bracket for it, because I got rear-ended and I hit somebody in front of me and it knocked the bracket off. And they didn't replace it when they did the body work. And he's like, "So where's your front plate?" I'm like, literally, like, I just pull it out of the seat pack behind me. I'm like, "It's right here." He's like, I'm like, "But I have it." I'm like, I don't think I deserve the ticket. I'm like, "This is not my fault." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna level with you." He's like, I can give you the non-moving ordinance violation for the front plate. It's like, or I can get you for rolling that stop sign,
speeding in the school zone,
the speeding in a school zone, and blowing that red light. So it's gonna be your choice. I'm like, yeah, just give me that. Just give me the ticket.
What do you got? A front plate quota? Like what?
I didn't give a shit at that point. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay the 50 or whatever bucks.
It's such a weird thing to say. Like, then just get, like, okay, I guess, yeah, give you the plate, I guess.
Yeah,
you don't want to get me.
I think he was just trying to give out tickets, and he thought I was like a kid on lunch from high school, but I wasn't, and I'm just dumb luck driving by, and I'm like, I just do not give a shit enough.
Yeah,
I actually think I put the license plate on and went to the police department. I'm like, because I mean, it's right on my house. I'm like, here, I'm compliant. Go fuck yourself. And I just took the thing back off.
Got him.
I mean, if I don't have to run a front plate, I don't think I should have to.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, sadly with the Volvo, it's like the bracket holes are already drilled into the bumper from the factory. So it's like, I'm not going to have those 4 bracket holes just sitting there. It's like, fine, I'll put the goddamn plate on. But if I got a clean bumper, there's no plate going on that bad.
Yeah.
That right now.
I got a hole in mine. It's stop.
Like
it's
a single hole, or is it like for like a tow hitch?
It's a tow hook, and then you can put a plate in it. But I don't. I have a tow hook in it. That looks.
So when it breaks.
Often. And actually, I used it. I actually used my tow hook.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I had a blowout on the highway, and I got off the highway, and they had to tow me. And he's like, "I can't get this thing on here." And I was like, "I got a tow hook. It's right there." And he towed it, and he got it on with the tow hook. And I was
nice.
Like, "It's functional. It's not just to look like Need for Speed."
Right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
So you don't just look like a tool.
Exactly. I look like a tool, but I am a functional tool. It's a metaphorical and literal tool. How about that, guys?
I mean, that should be a win for you.
I felt good. I was like, if anyone ever fucking says this thing is fucking shitty, I will say that I used it.
I used my tow hook. I'm not just the tool.
And if they ask if it was on a track, I just walk away.
Yes.
I walk away.
So where did this happen? Was it used to get you onto a flatbed or anything? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right off. Yep.
Was this at a track? I mean, you technically were in Mexico.
Define track. I blew my tire out. Were the treads gone? Yes, because I was doing burnouts. Crazy burnouts. And not bald. I swear.
I can see you doing stupid shit like that.
That's actually what I told the tow truck guy. He's like, man, these are bald. I was like, yeah, dude, I was fucking ripping down the highway. You serious? He's like, oh, for sure. I'm like, fuck, I forgot to replace these a long time ago. I was like, man, shit. I just kept telling everyone, I was like, oh yeah, I was just ripping, man. I was just burning out, doing burnouts and shit. You know how that shit is? And they're like, yeah, that's dope. And I'm like, fuck, they're buying it, or maybe they're not. And they don't want to start shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I had I didn't technically have a blowout. So I had a Contour SVT, and I thought it would be good to spend like, I don't know. I probably put $8,000 into the trans and suspension of that car and made it a little track car. It pulled like 1.14 on a skid pad. So, I mean, the thing was just glued to the road. But the catch is when like you lower the car, it changes the camber. So suddenly the inside of your tires wear, how do I say this? Much fucking faster. Like I was going through a set of tires 6,000 to 8,000 miles, depending on how much I tracked the car.
Damn.
And one time I was going down the highway and one of the inner belts just decided to come loose, wrapped around the axle and the steering rack and just pulled the wheel hard right. Going 65 miles an hour,
Dang.
man. I was, dude. It was in, it was a 2-lane exit from 294 at Lake Cook. If I was not in the left lane and I was in the right lane, I would have been right into the friggin' retaining wall.
Dang.
But thankfully I was in one lane over, so I had that extra 20 feet to get the car slowed down enough that I could get it under control and pull the wheel back.
That's nuts.
To get the car stopped. Yeah, I was kind of an idiot, but that didn't really change much.
Never really does.
Still do stupid right. I mean, everybody does stupid shit. And now I'm hearing more thunder and shit out. Holy mother of God, it's about to pour down on me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, I think I'm going to call it right there.
Enjoy your rain. I wish I had the rain, honestly. So I love rain.
Northern California's gotten a lot of rain.
We actually have gotten We have gotten months.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys got snow.
We did get snow.
Which you did. You posted.
I know.
You had snow.
We did.
And
I know.
I'm pretty sure I told you to go fuck yourself.
I just saw it, but okay, whatever. You gotta go. I'm not gonna get. We get into weather.
No.
We'll get into weather next time.
We'll talk weather next week, John.
Yeah.
Been a pleasure, and I will talk to you then.
Cool. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Take care, everybody. See ya.
Peace.
Oh, and come up with a better nickname for me. We need something better than my Watson 1060 that I've used for 30 years.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, you explained it to me, but no one will ever know what that means.
If you can figure it out, I will do something stupid if you know what that stands for.
Nobody
Katie,
will guess it.
And anybody, fuck off, John. Hold on. You know what?
Oh,
Here.
hey, fuck you.
If you could figure it out, I'll do something stupid next time. So I need a better name. I like Bradville. That one's kind of my favorite right now.
Oh, dude, that's a great name. I loved that name.
I kind of like that.
Dude, that's a great name.
With that, but new name for next week. We'll have something.
For sure.
But until then, take care, my friends.
See ya.